Hi, my name's Ken, and this is my wife Belle, and I want to tell you about my experience with clear passage. My whole life, I've been plagued with abdominal issues. Starting as a young teen, I had an appendectomy, emergency appendectomy, and then quite a few years later, I had I've always had gut issues, a lot of tummy aches, pains. And I figured out that a lot of that was from lactose intolerance. But even after I figured that out, I've had these issues. About 13 years ago, I had a diverticulitis attack so bad that I had to go in and have a third of my colon removed.
Or you had recurrent,
Recurrent
like 4 of them in a
diverticulitis
month.
attacks, and then they've actually continued after I had the surgery, but then shortly after that, I had a triple hernia, which needed to be repaired, and then about I guess a year and a half ago, I had a attack of that felt like diverticulitis, but it turns out that it wasn't. Bell took me to the emergency room, and they did a scan and they said, you don't have diverticulitis, you have a small bowel obstruction. So they said to go immediately to the emergency room. They're expecting you. And so that's what we did. And they immediately put an NG tube down my throat, gave me pain meds, and had me just wait to see if it would clear up. Apparently they apply or they administer contrast, which is supposed to help with scans, but it also helps with relaxing the issue sometimes, relaxing the problem, and sometimes it helps it clear up. No such thing happened with me, so 2 days later they decided to take me into surgery and correct my problem. So that was about a week in the hospital. They go in and they literally clear out your obstructions, which are adhesions, and the body's actually doing what it's supposed to be doing. But the problem is that these adhesions can actually work against you. They can actually strangle your colon or your small bowel, and that's what apparently was happening.
So I'm a psychotherapist and a nurse. And when I asked the Western medicine physicians what causes this and what can we do to prevent it, the answers were not very helpful nor hopeful. And I was like, so what, we're just waiting for the next attack to come? It was very, very traumatizing for him to have that NG tube in, which anyone listening to this who's had an NG tube knows. It's so, that in and of itself is very traumatizing, let alone all the pain. And then getting through the surgery, it's just very traumatizing. And to feel like there's nothing you can do, I was like, no, there's got to be something that he can do. We actually learned before with the diverticulitis, we had it pretty well controlled with diet. That Western medicine said, oh no, there's nothing you can do, but we researched online and we got information that, there are things you can do to empower yourself, and it made a huge difference. So this time, when there was actually a small bowel obstruction and it wasn't diverticulitis, we were at first, because we didn't know any better, we're like, oh good, it's not diverticulitis. Then we realized, oh my God, this is so much more serious. This is what people die from before, without surgery, he would have died. So I immediately got online to look at what options were available. And fortunately, gratefully, I found Clear Passage. I'm so grateful for the internet now. And I'm so grateful for the Werns who put this whole program together, because it has been psychologically a huge lifesaver. And my sense is that realistically, it has been a lifesaver. Now, we don't really know because it's preventative. And that's our goal, is we want to prevent another attack, another, obstruction. So what we did is we called Clear Passage, and got recommendations that there are people all over the country that are trained in how to do it. And my sense was, I would pay anything to get him to not have to go through that again. I would pay anything to save his life. We fortunately ended up opting to go to St. Louis. Maura and Sharon Hepburn, that's right, Sharon Hepburn. They were both just amazing. And as a psychotherapist and nurse, I wanted to be there in the room, and they let me be there during all of the sessions, and I was just intrigued. I was intrigued physiologically with what they did, and I was intrigued with their trust in what they were doing. I was intrigued with their skill, and I was fascinated to watch the changes that happened in Ken during the sessions. I mean, just these really interesting things, like he had this pain in his back that he had for years, and after they did this deep tissue work, working with the fascia, it released it, and then that back pain alleviated. And I went, oh my goodness, this is a real thing. The fascia is all interwoven in the body. So that was really amazing to me. And then afterwards, his scar was so clumped up, because that's what scars do. They go here, and it was a new scar. You have to wait at least 3 months after a major surgery before you can get in there to work. So we signed up, and we had to wait the 3 months, and I was just praying that he would not have a repeat episode, because it can happen. You can have another small bowel obstruction at any time. So I was just like, oh, please let us get there and learn what we could do to prevent this. And we did. And it's been over a year, and he's really good about doing his exercises that they showed him to do, his self-treatment. And he's really good at doing it almost every night. He misses a few nights here and there, but he's so good at doing it because he never wants to go through that trauma again. And I don't either.
No more NG tubes. In fact, I vowed I would never do this again. And, the hope that I got from Clear Passage, from Sharon, from Maura, is priceless. I definitely don't want to go through that again. And so, to me, it's worth it. I just feel empowered now. I feel like I have a say in my health. I mean, I don't know. It's only a year and 15 months out from the treatment, and there's been no recurrences, no discomfort whatsoever. It's just been really nice to have some kind of hope, to feel like I'm not totally vulnerable and helpless anymore. But the best part, like I say, is that I felt like I needed to feel like I had at least something I could do, and up to that point I didn't. And this is going to happen again. If you get a surgery to correct an issue, you're going to get more adhesions. It compounds. You're going to keep getting more adhesions, and it just felt like, what am I going to keep going and getting surgery every few months? And no, I don't want to live like that.
Yeah, so we both highly recommend Clear Passage for anyone that's gone through a small bowel obstruction or any other adhesion related problems. It's been miraculous. We're very grateful.
I am very grateful, and I'll tell you, I'm sure there's plenty of good practitioners and therapists within Clear Passage, but Sharon and Maura were fantastic, very professional, very loving, and just very soothing. They really made me feel confident in this whole process, and I'm really grateful to Larry and Belinda Warren.